However, he has got his work cut out for him from GaRpY. You know, these are the picks and bans. You have the Corrupted Keep, Awoken, Ruins, Blood Covenant, and Molten Fools. Kind of curious, actually, to see if we do reach a decider, because a Clutch versus Scale Bearer will be an interesting matchup to watch. But GaRpY historically has kind of had a bit of an upper hand on cnz, and I think that alone is going to have GaRpY feeling really good. And in those Challengers finals in this stage, he looked really strong.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can never count GaRpY out, right? I keep thinking back of the Stage 1 finals where it was Cypher who managed to knock GaRpY out of the Quake Pro League, but that was such a close game. It went to the 5th and final map. Cypher, someone who is now one of the absolute top-ranking players in the entire Quake Pro League, who went on to beat Rafa at that one tournament. GaRpY pretty much came this close to stopping all of that, to putting an end to that entire storyline before it even happened. So this man, without a shadow of a doubt, is clearly a top contender that can make things extremely difficult for any player.
And he can cause an upset as well, 100%. Like, GaRpY's been around since, not sure how many years, probably since like I-25, so a very, very long time, at least 15 years. He's got a huge amount of veteran experience underneath his belt, so won't be in the same position as Stone, but cnz's got to be really, really careful, because of course GaRpY's got all the VODs in the world to see exactly what cnz has been up to this past season, and now he's got all the tools with it as well, so cnz needs to really be careful throughout this matchup.
Does anyone... Well, I had a question because cnz had a couple of map wins against some great opponents, right? Is there consistency in any particular map? Like, is there like, oh well, he played on this map and people seem to have trouble against him?
I'll start with saying, with cnz, Molten Fools, he's beaten so many top players. He's beaten the likes of Razy, Tox, Avex, Sparty, Cooler. It is definitely one of his better maps. The only problem for him is it's map number 5, so I'm pretty sure GaRpY will want to try and end it a lot sooner than that.
Well, they're shutting us down. It sounds like the game is ready to go. It's our second Challenger matchup here for day 1 of the Quake World Championships. We're going to shoot it on over to our casters. We have got ZSX and 40 Lions. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, DJ Wheat and the guys. Hello. How you doing, 40? I guess you might be muted. Yeah, so
no, I would never mute myself.
You'd never mute yourself? I thought we'd go back to rehearsals.
I just wanted to have the intensity rise slowly as we get into the second matchup. GaRpY versus cnz. Any quick predictions?
I mean, I got to rep my UK esports boy, but this is insane that it's a relegation match. I think it will go to a 3-2 either way. I felt that cnz's had a remarkable season, but GaRpY throughout the challenges has just looked pretty unstoppable. So either way, I'm expecting something big, but I'll stick with UK esports. A lot of pressure there to uphold that mantle.
I believe that GaRpY probably will take this as well if I had to put my money on it, but here we are, 0-0, a bit of a slow start. But yeah, GaRpY, very competitive. He's been in the league before. He's no stranger to it. As he sets up a little bit of tribal damage on that Mega, just going to back off and grab this heavy. Now he has timing on both the items. I like this delay as well.
Yeah, good delay. Normally we see a lot of trading, particularly in the early stages of Quake Champions Duel, but GaRpY recognizing that, wanting to get a bit more of a foothold onto the map. cnz did make an approach, so he heard the timing and will be more aware of what those tactics are. Just want to point out, I do fear a little bit for cnz in this matchup on this map because of the stack difference. Like, he could just get bullied given the immense power of Sorlag, as they do have an engagement over by the Mega. GaRpY's got the low ground. cnz bravely drops down, but to his peril, as GaRpY takes an easy lead and maintains so much of his stack. And with that delay, he's got a lockdown on both items.
That's just a beautiful play by GaRpY there. Great shaft, and he's going to get maybe another one. That rocket is actually enough to keep him out for a second. That probably saved cnz's life right there as GaRpY was going for his second frag.
Yeah, cnz's living perilously down on the low ground. He's extremely early. This must be a mistiming. GaRpY knows exactly when it is and drops down absolutely perfect. And we're seeing the continuing prowess of GaRpY. We saw in the challenges building up to this. cnz should be challenging this. He is going super aggressive. The GaRpY's pretty healthy, but that is some immense nail gun as GaRpY's very low, but will still get the frag. He lost out on the heavy though, 40, so that's a bit of a lifeline for cnz.
That's going to be the saving grace. There's the Hyper Blaster, almost did it. Good damage here. GaRpY's still a little bit weak, but those rockets are so spot on. Beautiful from GaRpY.
I'm not sure about this aggression. He's just trying to run at his opponent, but when you're picking a light champion, you obviously don't spawn with enough of a stack to make that count. He had the ejection for the initial push, which is why it semi-worked out. That's a good drop. Cutting GaRpY through the choke point, but immense damage. And the injection was used, so he needs to restack. But he's in a good position.
Be careful now. We're trying to fend him off with these rockets. GaRpY going over the top with the LG, 28 HP for cnz. Can he survive? And no, GaRpY goes through the telly, finishes it off with a bit of a tickle there. 5-1.
5-1 already. Only 2.5 minutes in, and that exemplified why I'm a little bit worried for this matchup, just because GaRpY spawned with nothing. cnz obviously had a good fight in the prior engagement over by the heavy, but GaRpY came out losing in that fight, but spawned with such a significant advantage overall. He was able just to run back at cnz. So there needs to be more tact in the approach play from cnz if he's going to be coming out on top in any of these engagements. So for me, he definitely needs to fall back onto the tri-bolt, onto the heavy machine gun, and play a bit more of a range game. Because at the minute, he's just taking GaRpY in these close combat situations like now, and it's just not working. Oh, another very simple frag for the Brit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, cnz needs to have a lot cleaner execution here so he can maintain that stack. GaRpY again, natural stack's a lot bigger, and all that damage from the machine gun just tearing into cnz. 7-1, huge lead already for GaRpY.
It is a huge lead, but cnz seems to be taking a bit more caution now, which is good. Didn't take enough damage there from GaRpY, but he just has, once again, just holding position on the mid-ground. And if I'm honest, it feels a little bit easy. 8-1, less than 4 minutes in. It will be 9-1 now, even if he steals away the heavy. Don't feel that it's going to be worth it for cnz. He did get away with his life though, yeah, and it was decent damage in the end.
Stacks are bad. Even this could be a frag, but no! cnz goes down again. The rocket's just a little bit off, and GaRpY capitalizes it again, just adding it to his lead and right off the spawn. cnz just in the wrong part of town. GaRpY will claim the Mega yet again, and he's just gonna go on a tear right now. I mean, this is pretty brutal right now.
It is, and we're obviously going to the halfway point, and he has got somehow a mutual frag. I'm not sure what happened on that final rocket. cnz also gets the worst spawns. So GaRpY pushes in, gets the super shotgun, and will pick up probably both items. I'm sure cnz will make a committal here, as that's what he's done all game, and that story continues. And once again, he takes an immense amount of damage, but surviving just for now. Getting away ever so slowly. Oh no! Second spit frag of the game for GaRpY. And what do you do in this situation? You haven't even hit the halfway mark. You're down by 11. You're always going to struggle by the power of the saw lag, just because the immense stack difference. It feels kind of futile on map 1, and it is a best of 5, remember, so mentally, you need to make sure you don't just crumble from what is a very brutal start.
Yeah, just chalk it up to a rough start here. Still 5 minutes to gather your thoughts and maybe start thinking about map number 2. I mean, Sorlag is a strong, independent woman, so 14-1. Not that surprising here as the spit comes down. A little bit of LG. GaRpY trying to keep him at bay, and he'll grab the heavy. And again, even after that damage, the stack is pretty even. GaRpY going in with the super shotgun, and he's going to be able to claim that frag as well.
Yeah.
And it's brutal, painful.
I mean, it was quite a small thing, and you mentioned it right at the start, but that delay has played so well for GaRpY ever since then, because he got both items off the back of that and a very clean frag, if you remember, for the opener. And ever since then, it's been pretty much one-way traffic. And I guess the unfortunate thing for me isn't the way the map has gone, it's the fact that cnz hasn't adjusted his strategy. It was clearly being unsuccessful, and yet the same level of pacing and momentum has continued to the point where he's now reclaiming a few frags, but still, what, 13 frags the difference?
Just a bit of an ego boost, if anything. That's still better than nothing, but I think you're right. GaRpY had such a strong start. He's going to get in there. Inject comes out. The 50 armor goes to cnz as he backs away. GaRpY is very hurt. Still maintaining a little bit of pressure, but I think you're right. At this point, time ticking away, maybe a little bit too late here for cnz, but I've seen miracles happen before. Good rockets from GaRpY, those super shotgun from cnz. Will he be able to claim this frag? He's going to drop down very low, both players. Mega goes to cnz. Yeah, I think he doesn't have a choice, kind of like earlier when he was plus forwarding. You know, based on the time, he kind of has to keep doing that now and converting these to frags.
Oh, absolutely, and this is it, like 3 minutes to go, and you said miracles could happen, and it is the relegation match, the highest pressure situation, so it might be the time for that to happen, but That's the type of tempo he needed now, not in the opening engagements where he was handing his lead away. He jumps into the landing on a GaRpY over in this room and comes away with the frag. He's pretty weak. The Mega is up, but the Heavy is not. So GaRpY will actually spawn with more of a stack than his opponent.
The LG
and the shotgun is too strong.
Too strong. Stacks are too big. 17-4, just adding on. GaRpY can cruise to this map 1 victory here, but like we said, cnz needs to kind of keep his head in the game no matter what happens. This is chalk it up to an L, but there's still a long series left.
It is a long series left. This map is very much clearly over, and we'll have to move on to the next game. We've seen that these close combat engagements did not favor cnz in the slightest. One, yes, the stack difference is there, but I felt that GaRpY has just looked a lot crisper as well. So I think that cnz needs to check the tempo and play much more around defensive rockets from Rail.
Going into a Woken Stroke Ranger, it's going to be a little bit more even as GaRpY just adding it on here, adding to the body count, 21-4. Think he could hit 30? 2 minutes is, I don't know, depending on how it goes. Depending on if cnz just keeps pushing.
If I was a betting man, I'd say no. I'm going to say high 20s, you know, let's say it'll finish on 28-5. Let's do that.
28-5, lock it in. Chat, hold him accountable. But yeah, great start for GaRpY. That's going to be a big confidence boost here as he wants to get back into the league. Another super shotgun kill.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of super shotgun, particularly against the lights, just because they get blown away by the close combat of that. Another easy frag going GaRpY's way. Closing in on 28. Minute to go. I think he can do it.
There it is, just adding in. I think cnz, you know, it's over. Why not just rush? But even early in the game, we saw that route being taken from cnz off that spawn over and over again, and I think GaRpY kind of had that downloaded. Just teetering on the edge of that statue there. Is that almost getting melted? Finally pulls it out. That was close.
I don't really understand what happened. He was just levitating. I think he got clipped and just couldn't move.
Well, she's very strong with her tail, so she was actually
right.
A lot of people don't know that about the mechanic, but the tail is
that like the helicopter maneuver, and she was just kind of just floating?
Exactly. Propelling herself upwards. 25-6 here.
I imagine you would go into a barroom brawl just flailing in. That's kind of what felt like cnz was doing here. No real strategy, just running in head first.
Into a brick wall, unfortunately for
quite literally, yeah.
One, but 25-7, lock it in. That is a big first map for GaRpY. But again, as cnz, you have to be able to clear your mind, go into the next map, and put this one in the past, because that was a rough start.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, the damage difference wasn't as big as it felt in game. It was only 1,000. 6,000 damage to 5,000 is a lot of fighting. And it's quite surprising that cnz, for me, gave GaRpY the opportunity to take as many combat situations as he needed. Like the pick of Anarchy against the Swarlak was always going to be a tough one, and unfortunately that was just not the correct strategy for that. I think he needed to use, obviously the speed difference isn't as great, but he needed to use much better, more effective range games. Keep chipping away at that Swarlak and then choose his situation more wisely. There wasn't much positional play throughout. He was kind of just running at the item. So some adjustments needed, but we've seen throughout the Pro League that cnz has the capability to play that type of game, play a much slower game. And I think if he can do that, he's definitely in with a shout to take at least the next map.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you saw in the first set, you know, one map doesn't mean anything. You can come back, you know, shake the cobwebs off, whatever it was, and you could win the set, as Sparty did earlier. So let's see if cnz could be as lucky. We're going to get into the second map here shortly. It's going to be Strog and Peeker versus Ranger. Any thoughts on this matchup?
I think obviously the Strog and Peeker is one of my favorites at this point in time with the meta. The speed is great. You have a strong foundation in terms of the stack, and the Peeker is somewhat underused but a very powerful tool. We've seen some evolution in the meta of how that's used, being actually more for a range tool as much as just a kind of a charging at you. But Ranger as well has so much utility, particularly with the rocket jump passive, which is something I think is massively underrated in the game. So there's not a huge imbalance in terms of the picks, nowhere near to the degree as we saw in this one. So it will come down to this match will come down much more to who plays the better duel than just who has the bigger stack and who can run at you faster.
I am interested to see if cnz's going to kind of play that more aggressive style now that the stacks will be about even. Maybe it'll play to his favor a little more. Again, as you mentioned in the first map, Corrupted Keep, Sorlag versus Anarchy is already an uphill battle, and based on cnz's play, he kind of wasn't respecting that stack difference enough, and he was kind of taking engagements that he had no business really taking, especially if you don't do a lot of initial damage. Sorlag's just going to get beefed up over time. It's going to be even harder off the spawn. But second map, the first one's dusted. Stroggen Peeker versus Ranger. This one should be a good one. It should be a lot closer.
Yeah, as you say, it is putting it behind you. We're in a best of 5. There is much more pacing to be had as an evolution of the strategy, even over the course of a duel between two competitors. So it's a learning curve. I don't know when the last time these two played together. There might have been a lack of understanding of how in shape GaRpY was. So time to check and go again. But this is also probably another high intense map to take on. So you need to get that pacing in check early, otherwise it can spiral once again.
Pleasantries exchange from the players here, and we are live on map number 2, Awoken. GaRpY versus cnz, Strog versus Ranger. Ooh, GaRpY already getting a little bit of a tickle in the peeker play. Not a lot of damage though, but that could have been just sneak up behind him. Maybe if he had a shotgun. A little blasty blast there as the rail misses. GaRpY looking for his rockets, gets one for free as cnz missing some rails early.
Yeah, not the best. Like I said, I do want cnz to be using that railgun a bit more, just to open up opportunities. If he wants to play the higher tempo pace, then make sure your opponent's weak enough for you to capitalize upon that tempo. We do see trading at the start. The items are the same, so no split as we saw on the previous map. But nice initial engagement from GaRpY with 190 damage coming out. He realized he could pick up the pace, going through Banana. Aggressive from cnz, trying to catch GaRpY off guard, but that won't work. GaRpY realizing his opponent's on the other side, tries to capitalize on that damage, hits a nice rail, but does eat a rocket for his troubles.
Right in the breadbasket. Does have the Mega to fall back on, but that first frag was beautiful from GaRpY. Great trap, rocket to rail combo, finishes it off in the Banana. A little bit of damage through the telly. That rocket right between his legs. The British Bulldog got away with one on that. That could have been big damage. Nevertheless, does have a 1 frag lead here as he's slowing things down near this heavy. Wants to make a play on it, trying to set up appropriately.
Yeah, GaRpY will be happy with the trade just after eating a little bit of damage. Some licks coming out from cnz, who wants to pressure the heavy, knowing the items at the same time, but GaRpY does play it well by sweeping around to force cnz to back off onto that Mega, and a nice rail to nullify that pickup as well. Good play from GaRpY, using the Pika just to scout out, doesn't do anything, but he got the information where he was, which opens up that rail angle, and now cnz needs to play much more careful as GaRpY is on the prowl.
Whenever people are in that room and you see the rail come out, it's just such a clinch moment because you're like, is that the ring out? Is it going to happen?
I mean, even as a player, every time you're in that room, if you don't know what 100% where your opponent is, you're kind of just clenching your teeth because you're like, please don't hit me, please don't hit me. And GaRpY, with another rail, is just forcing cnz into a corner, but misreads where he goes. That could have been an easy second frag, but sneaky play from cnz, and GaRpY misses out on the kill, but picks up full map control instead.
It might be the end of him right here. Good defensive rocket, but they both drop down, and GaRpY finds the angle for the rail. Gets that frag regardless. Is he going to get one off the spawn? He hears him. It's the LG, the rail into the orb, and the rocket is enough.
Interesting play. I understand wanting to go aggressive, but when you've just used the rail and you're still on reload, it was quite a high-risk play. Didn't pay out. GaRpY should be able to sweep in, at least doing some damage onto the heavy. Sees he's going to contest, but drops onto it. Probably the wrong choice. Does a huge amount of damage, though. I think if he just maintained high ground instead of dropping, it might have worked out better, but doesn't matter. He's done a lot of damage. GaRpY's relatively weak, so cnz could set up for this Mega if he doesn't take too much damage here in the mid-ground, which he does. They're both very, very weak.
And I know I've said it before, but GaRpY's rockets are just so good. They're so good. As he's still reeling right now, has to give up this Mega, barely misses with that rail. Still incredibly weak here. Trying to do as much damage as he can. He's actually almost gonna get in. That was so close to stealing that heavy.
No, but it shows the power of the Ranger. The extra burst damage from the orb is exactly what he needs, and it was a really clean kill. So cnz's in a perfect opportunity to maintain a stronghold on the mid-ground, do some damage to GaRpY, who wasn't careful enough going around that corner. And cnz can keep the pressure up now. Fortunate miss rail, but that would just signal that he can push back onto this Mega.
Peaker dealt with nicely here, as he should get some free damage on this heavy. GaRpY somehow dancing. There's two good rockets here. Doesn't have any more, though, unfortunately. Going to try and pepper with the tri-bolt. Misses with the rail, and GaRpY very lucky to get out of that situation.
And we're seeing a much more tempered cnz on this map.
Aggressive Dire Orb, beautifully timed on that Mega. A little bit of LG as well, and he's going to back out. Now full map control to cnz. Ooh, Peaker around the corner, but dealt with well. GaRpY getting a little cheeky with those Peaker plays.
Yes, and now it's up to GaRpY to play sensible on the defense. Currently working the angles well, doing damage in these choke points.
Stop watching.
cnz has to walk away with his tail between his legs, but gets a free pick on the Mega. And if he secures his heavy, it's going to be the signal for him to go on the aggressive. But there is still 5 minutes to go, 40. There's only 2 frags difference, so there's... The intensity doesn't need to rise too much just yet. I'm enjoying the way cnz is playing when he's in control and not seeing the same level of overcommittal as we saw in the first game.
Yeah, as you mentioned, much more tempered. Very, very patient right now in the middle here, just daring GaRpY to come out for the Mega.
That's exactly what he needs to be doing, using those audio cues to try and suss out GaRpY's movements. Nice play from GaRpY to hit that rail through the middle, but don't think it's enough to open up the opportunity to challenge with this heavy. Just trying to do some damage from range. Does commit for that one-on-one lightning gunfight because he hit the initial rail, but taking a lot of damage and forced the rocket jump out. He's found him here over in the mid. But GaRpY's rails always hitting that damage. If these are such clutch rails, if any one of them miss, cnz has an opening to push in because he has that Dire Orb available.
He's still so weak. cnz going for the hunt instead of trying to restack, and this is a bad situation now as the Mega goes to GaRpY. Is he going to get the tickle? There's 21 HP, misses with the rail. cnz finally getting some health bubbles in the 50 armor, but he gave up full map control, and GaRpY already with the 2 frag lead. That could be curtains, potentially, for cnz.
Yeah, for sure. He's lost map control. He had it for so long, but GaRpY just played so effectively on the defense. cnz had no real openings. There was no chance where he could have overcommitted. He's afraid to give away another frag, which is obviously the right thing to do. But there is, once again, a lot of time left. 3.5 minutes. It's easy to convert frags as well. He's found GaRpY using the Peaker a bit greedy, but the Peaker did hit him, meaning he has to back off, but he's extremely weak. GaRpY would just get that last lick of damage around the corner.
Almost getting that spawn rail there. Gonna go up the jump head, LG on LG. Gets pushed away here, drops down for the 50 armor, almost finds another rail angle here. Is GaRpY keeping up the damage as best he can? There's the aggressive Dire Orb play, but it won't work out for cnz again. Maybe getting a little bit too aggressive there. GaRpY capitalizes, there's a rail off the spawn, almost gets another one. cnz trapped now, this could be real bad.
Yeah, GaRpY's aware of going through that teleporter. He doesn't need to force the issue to extend his lead. He's built up a nice safety net with a 4, but that's a great rocket. Forcing cnz back. He knows now that's an opening. Doubles back through the telly. Realizes there's plenty of time before the Mega and finds it through the middle. Takes a lot of damage himself. So needs to be a bit careful, but does know how weak his opponent is, and that will be not the cleanest of frags, but still another buffer for the last 2 minutes.
Got the job done, smelled the blood on the water, literally, and sealed that one 7-2. This is looking more and more dire here. Peaker comes out, the heavy will get stolen, and the Dire Orb comes up, and that's what cnz needed. Great aggressive play there, 7-3, and with 2 minutes left, it's got to be balls to the wall. LG on LG in the LG room, 50 armor, could that save? GaRpY's left the rail from cnz.
In with a chance here. GaRpY knows how weak he is. He also knows the time of the Mega. Wouldn't be surprised to see him make himself shown on this Mega area. He does just off the pickup, realizing he wants to go through the mid-ground. That is a really crucial route because it opens up a door for this heavy, but the retaliation rocket and rail combo means GaRpY's weak.
This rail, cnz heating up when he needs to. 1:30 left, 3 frags. Well within the realm of possibilities. So he grabs another 50 armor. And now he has Dire Orb, and that is going to be huge as well.
Oh, that's such a big rocket, but that Dire Orb doesn't connect. It hits the wall, he's clipped it, but finds him as GaRpY goes through that teleport area. 2 frags is entirely possible for Tears. We're in for a big last minute.
Luckily, the Dire Orb mishap doesn't bite him yet, but 1 minute left, 2 frags. GaRpY has to be very careful here. Gonna go up the jump pad cnz, trying to get back to the mid ground here. There's a good rail from GaRpY. He's gonna back away, and this is exactly what he has to do. He has to hit and run as best he can for 50 seconds. Tri-bolt, no damage. cnz trying to play slow and maybe make GaRpY make a mistake here, but he doesn't have enough time to do that forever. 40 seconds, time is ticking.
And this is where the speed of the stronger picker comes into play. I'd love to see cnz rocket jumping around a little bit more, showing some urgency. He's got enough of a stack to do so. He's going to have to force the issue. There's only 30 seconds left and he needs 2 frags. He knows where GaRpY is, but he can't catch him. He's wearing a VT rocket. GaRpY's got such a solid defensive position. There's just a perfect exit point, perfect information with the audio cues. cnz's going to find it difficult to penetrate, even though he knows where he is. And he's caught him at the jump pad. This should be enough damage to stall cnz. A perfect rail. GaRpY's a little bit trapped, but the rocket jump comes out and he forces the issue away. And that should be all she wrote. So cnz can't do enough to find him off spawn, I'm sure.
It would have been a miracle. GaRpY does just enough to keep cnz at bay and take map number 2. And that was a very, very close set there. GaRpY and cnz. GaRpY's off the leash. The British Bulldog kind of showing us, I've been here before. This ain't no thing. What are you guys worried about?
I mean, the defining factor for me is the rail. I mean, look at the difference in percentage. It's 57 to 24. And it wasn't just the percentage, it was how GaRpY was consistently using it more effectively on the defense. Every time cnz was picking up these items or trying to make a move, he was always eating the first damage with a rail from GaRpY from some creative angle. And that was enough. There was only a 1 frag game. So ultimately, if cnz can find his execution and hit equal amounts, I'm sure he would have won that game. It was a much better game from cnz.
Yeah, definitely look a lot more solid. But yeah, great play from GaRpY as well, kind of taking those unconventional angles, but also even from mid-range, taking angles with the rail where he can take a shot and fall back safely without fully committing or getting caught out.
Absolutely, but cnz does seem to have composed himself. The unfortunate thing for him is that he is now down 2 maps to 0, meaning GaRpY just needs to walk away with a single map, and cnz, started from scratch, has to win 3 in a row. That's a lot of pressure for your life in the Quake Pro League.
That's a huge mountain to climb for sure. GaRpY feeling really good as we get into match number 3 here shortly. Keel versus Nyx on Ruins. Thoughts on that pick? I personally love it. I'm a big Keel fan.
I'm a big Keel fan as well, and whenever I see this level of mismatch in the picks in terms of heavy versus light, you've always got in your gut, this is going to be tough for the Nyx, or this is going to be tough for the light. And Nyx obviously presents a huge amount of utility, but if you play Keel smart on Ruins, he's such a beast. We've seen Cypher pick him on this map countless times. You don't even need to play complex. You can just play down in that heavy area. And what's the Nyx meant to do? Because within that zone, you're in Keel's territory. It's close combat, and you're going to get bounced around as a Nyx. So cnz, it's going to be a low-scoring map if cnz is going to win this. He can't put on the pressure as much as he wants to. He's going to have to play that range game, keep GaRpY stack low, because I'm with you. I just think Keel is a really strong pick against the Nyx on this map.
Yeah, for cnz's sake, I hope he likes pineapples, but I think he needs to play that range game, keep that rail out, heavy machine gun, chip away as best he can, and then maybe ghost walk in and try and, you know, surprise him. But we'll see. It's going to be a tough mountain to climb in this map, and then in the whole set. He's got to win 3 in a row, as you mentioned. That's going to be a little brutal. But we've seen it happen before. This is why champions and how champions are made, and this could be the story that cnz writes.
He's going to have to if he wants to stay in it, and he was one of my favorite to watch in the Pro League for the last stage. I think he's come on a long way. I thought he was fortunate to even go out in the first place, but unfortunately for him, he's come up against, and this shows the caliber of the challengers, somebody who deservedly should be in the QPL as well. But there's only so many spots, and cnz needs to win this map to even stand a chance to stay in it.
Absolutely, as we're going to get into potentially the last map of the set if GaRpY has anything to do with it. Keel versus Nyx. We're going to start off on GaRpY. And I like, well, the shotgun on this map to start is a little interesting. He wants to get up close and personal, supplement those pineapples.
I mean, yeah, that just shows you what the strategy is from GaRpY, right? As you said, get up close and personal. He doesn't want to engage in any sort of rail duels in lightning gun battles. He wants to get in his face. He wants to have that stack advantage and just bully his opponent.
Fireworks.
His way over to the rail in case of emergency. That rocket was real close, and there's the opening rail right there, right off the bat, as items are traded for the players and synced up nicely here. Now it's kind of about, okay, as GaRpY, do I want to try and trap Mega? Do I even care? Do I want to just keep cycling the heavy and try and kind of see if cnz is going to make a play and then trap him down there with the Pineapple's rockets? Great rail there.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Nyx, is that you're always going to have to hit clutch shots, but if you do, then you open up opportunities to push in. So perfect start from cnz, a couple of back-to-back rails, keep chipping away, and that's, as we said, going to be the key. As soon as you miss one, or if your frags aren't clean, this happens. The big man is going to run at you.
Heal is a thick boy indeed, luckily for cnz. Oh, never mind, Caster's Curse! He gets a rail in the booty, 1-1 for GaRpY. I thought items were going to be traded. I thought he was going to live to see another day, but I ruined it. My bad.
And that's painful. Every rail you eat as a Nyx just gets worse and worse. GaRpY knows the Ghostwalk isn't up for a few more seconds. He doesn't know exactly when. And cnz might be forced to pop it here. He is. GaRpY sees it. What will he do? He's going to pick up the Mega and then probably double back. Tough situation from cnz now. He's going to commit for the heavy, but at what cost? GaRpY's there. Doesn't want to overcommit. He knows how vulnerable he is, even though he's got a little bit of a stack lead. Eating a damage on the drop down will be enough for him to check.
Didn't want to fully commit there. Wants to make sure that he's going to get this frag safe and securely here, as Mega's going to be the next item up for about 8 seconds, looking for some damage. Here's cnz down below waiting for that telly play. Misses with the rail, a little bit of Pineapple. No damage on that one either, though. Oh, that's so much LG.
Yeah. I mean, I initially liked the play from GaRpY. He knew his opponent didn't have a lightning gun, a rail, or probably even a rocket, so realized he could push through that choke point. But how eating so much lightning gun from above means he's so weak now and kind of trapped in this tribal area. What do you do? Because the Nyx could even use the Ghostwalk aggressively. And that would be my favorite play, but instead, outsmarting the Brit down on the low ground.
Cuts him off, body blocks him, and a rail for his troubles. cnz taking the lead, and this is exactly what he needs. Items traded again, but cnz's playing this really well, keeping the damage up. I mean, GaRpY's missing out on the rail battles, but you know, Keel is a thick boy, a little bit easier to kind of put that crosshair on him. So cnz needs to be careful as Pineapples, and just as I say that, gets knocked out of position for the Mega. It's not up for another 10 seconds, but that's going to be frustrating.
Not up for 10 seconds, but the items are still on the same timing, so it can just trade. GaRpY should realize where his opponent's gone. There was no way he's going to escape from that fight, and in doing so does eat the rail on the retreat. He's stuck here, but willing to take the fight against GaRpY. The Pineapples are coming out. None of them are hitting, but the lightning gun is strong. Shotgun will make GaRpY weak, but not weak enough. Can he get around? He's slow, but cnz spawns quite a way away.
Lucky number 7 there for GaRpY. 7 HP after that fight. Unfortunate for cnz. Tied at 2. 4 minutes in. GaRpY looking to take control here, setting up in the heavy. He's going to be able to secure that safely. cnz almost peaked for a little bit of rail, but at the very least has timing on it.
And now we're kind of resetting into the pattern of this map where I expected, but GaRpY's over-committing there, doing no damage and taking so much in return. Yes, he knows the timing, but didn't have the right weaponry or position to take that fight, so pretty greedy. And cnz is stabilized and is playing this very well indeed. He's doing what we said. Keep on top of GaRpY, keep that stack low. Don't take too many close combat engagements.
Oh, this is pretty brutal. Oh, that shotgun blast into LG. Can he make something happen? GaRpY trying to put out as much damage as he can, but the super shotgun LG combo just too strong from cnz.
I'm also really liking the use of that weapon. He's used it consistently when he closes the gap. Oh, missing that rail is going to hurt, as now he doesn't want to be pushing in. If he hit that rail, the opening was there. Nevertheless, he's in a very comfortable position now. He's got a good stack himself, and he's playing much more careful.
5-minute warning.
one thing that could come back to haunt GaRpY is if you fall behind 2-3 frags, the chase on this map with Keel especially is going to be ever so hard.
Absolutely. As much as we said we like the kill pick, you need to be in control. You need to be maintaining your stack. cnz's doing such a great job on positions that GaRpY's finding it extremely hard to get these angles as much as he wants to, but this is where the fights go really chaotic. 4 HP, much damage, and that's the game plan. As we said, that is Keel's territory. You don't want to be there as a Nyx.
Keel's domain, but cnz will live. Hold on to the 2 frag lead here as he stacks back up off what he can and just playing really patiently, waiting for these sound cues. He's kind of eyeing the clock, and you could tell he's like, okay, I just need to kind of play defensive for 4 minutes here. It's a big map. I need my Ghost Walk back before I commit to anything, just in case. And I like the pacing from cnz right now.
For sure. He's playing this exactly the way he needs to, and if you can continue this rhythm, then he should walk away with this map. The Nyx is going to be very difficult to track down, we know that. And this map is a very good map for Nyx to keep on that retreat. But this is what GaRpY wants to do. He's healthy now. The Ghost Walk comes out, but fortunately just picking up the Mega before that happened. So that's a win in my book for cnz.
Look at how cautious he is. He doesn't want to take any rails. He doesn't want to take any unnecessary damage here.
But that's where the difficulty comes in, because you need to have a balance. Yes, you can't increase the tempo. I think it's the right way to play, but at the same time, you need to make sure you're hitting rails like that, because if you're not, then GaRpY can pressure you.
Absolutely, he needs to keep some sort of pressure on. You can't just give up the whole map. Good rails again, and takes the Mega, and has potential here for the heavy as Ghost Walk is available if things go south. 7 minutes, still at 2 frags up for cnz.
Playing this perfectly, as you say. He did enough damage to be able to feel confident to push into that heavy room, and if anything went south, Ghost Walk to fall back on. This is spot on Nyx play. 3 minutes to go though, and there's only 2 frags, so not count our chickens yet. cnz has a lot of work to do.
GaRpY getting caught out here. cnz laying down some rocket damage, a little bit of LG, just begging GaRpY to ride that lightning on the way down. That rail's going to be huge, 6 HP. cnz will grab the heavy, and he's just going to wait, making sure he doesn't get hit from that rail angle that GaRpY's hit so many times before. 2.5 minutes, still up 2. Ghost Walk is available again, and that's going to be cnz's saving grace here as he wants to try and get this Mega as well, and GaRpY's nowhere to be found.
And they're the type of confident players you need to make if you're going to win this map. Not using the Ghost Walk, not panicking, even holding the rail angle originally to hit a final clutch rail to prevent GaRpY from feeling comfortable to push in. And GaRpY drops early, but doesn't take damage for it. cnz would want to hold out to try and hit something, and he does. Can he hit a second? Can. Needs to commit. He's got the Ghost Walk if he needs it, so can take the engagement, but he's taken a bit of damage, so we'll play it slower now. And GaRpY walking around the corner.
That buckshot from up close, I think that was a full 100 blast there. Now he's going to grab the Mega. No, this is not what you want. The Ghost Walk luckily available. GaRpY's going to opt to go for the heavy instead. That is dangerous. That's leaving it up for a little bit.
That's the problem. A small mistake, and look at the position cnz's now on the back foot for the next minute and a half. That's a perfect rail, but the Ghost Walk's still down, so GaRpY knows that and wants to pressure. Taking a lot of damage though, so needs to retreat, restack. We know how long that takes when you're a big, beefy man. He's also out of position for this Mega, he knows it as well.
I like GaRpY waiting, trying to get that armor. Almost catches him out down below. That rocket was decent. Not a lot of damage, but he wants the heavy instead before he starts chasing now as the minute has arrived. This is going to be the final countdown for GaRpY. Can he close this out in 3? cnz needs to do his best up a frag. He's just hiding out in the courtyard, and that's the play right now. Just go silent, make GaRpY hunt.
Exactly, and he's bought time for the Ghost Walk, so he has that 2 lives effectively. GaRpY needs to find him. He needs to pop the Ghost Walk, and he has to find him again. All in 30 seconds. Hunting, but this is where he's just been. GaRpY's a bit late on the scent, doesn't know he's going to drop down, but he's going to miss him as cnz's already vacated the area, and GaRpY takes the wrong route. 20 seconds to do all of what we said before. He's going the right way. What can cnz do? He's going to hit him on the jump pad. It's going to be tough. And
all the plays.
Double back from cnz was immense. And he takes map 3, keeping him in this series.
That is absolutely huge. Well played there from cnz. A little bit frustrating for GaRpY there, but that's the risk you take. Kind of picking keel on a map that big, getting back into control, chasing down your opponent. Extremely difficult. Couldn't quite do it there. Well played to cnz.
I thought he played fantastic, and it was such a contrast to how we saw on map 1. Feels that, as we said, this narrative continues to evolve throughout the series as cnz is adjusted so dramatically from the first game, and fully respects the way in which GaRpY wanted to play in the stack difference, something he didn't do earlier in the series. Yes, it was a very difficult ask for him to make that happen, but he did what was necessary. You have to hit those clutch shots. He made the right decisions. He checked his tempo. So now GaRpY needs to reflect on that, because in my mind he should have won that.
Yeah, he should have, but he didn't. cnz's very happy. Some might say that he ghost walked away with that map. I don't know, ZSX. I'm not sure if people would say that. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think it's a valid thing to think. But he does walk away with it, and he should be happy as he moves in, keeps his life alive. Has to win 2 in a row, remember. 2 more in a row, should we say.
And the next map is going to be Blood Covenant BJ versus Aizen. I like that lineup. I think Aizen is going to be good, as cnz's going to have the Aizen, BJ on GaRpY. I'm interested to see kind of what plays he comes up with Timmy the Turret here, kind of what traps he wants to set up, and kind of what he has in mind for this Aizen play on Blood Cove.
Yeah, neither one has particularly good mobility around the map, and it is a map that favors that for sure. So obviously surprised we don't see something like the Nyx or the Doom on this map, which are a bit more standard picks, but obviously picked earlier and banned out. So I think they both provide pretty good utility. The Aizen, obviously, with the turret, as you say, creative placements, it distorts combat. It's not the best map in the world for Aizen, but I think Aizen's good on any map. And similarly for BJ, I think popping that dual wield, particularly in the mid-range when you can use the heavy machine gun, can just shred opponents. So you have to be careful with your positioning, because as soon as you're caught out in the open, there's lots of exposed areas on Blood Covenant. You could be in for a world of pain.
Yeah, if you get caught out in the Mega and they pop and they come in from the pillar catwalk area, they could just pin you against the wall with LG's rockets. It could be very dangerous, but we're going to get into it. Blood Covenant map number 4. Not to look ahead, nothing is guaranteed, but if we do make it to map number 5, it's going to be big boys, clutch and scale. But first, BJ Aizen on Blood Cove, GaRpY versus cnz. This one should be a good one, as cnz seems to be heating up slowly but surely, getting back into it.
And I think I would want to see a very similar playstyle as we saw last map. Not as defensive as passive, because obviously you're a better fighting stack, but I think using that against GaRpY, it made him look uncomfortable. So he can keep on top of GaRpY with the range and the rail, then he's in for a definitely good shout. And your point, no bias, I would love to see a game 5, see the big boys battling it out.
GaRpY gets a decent start. There's the turret down. There's the dual LG right off the bat. Yikes. Doesn't even care about Timmy the Turret, as he's a little bit late to the gun show here. So much tribal. He's like, oh, get rid of this real quick.
Control of the rail is always going to be a key factor in this game. GaRpY's already successfully done that once. He's also got a split on the items, but without a rocket, he can't get in time for the Mega. He might get the last-ditch rail, but good placement of the turret there.
Yeah, at the very least, if you're not getting a lot of damage out of the turret, you can kind of hear the sound cue and get a bead on where your opponent is, and that could be just as crucial here.
Yeah. But GaRpY, as you see, realizing that since he doesn't have that rail, is just patrolling the bridge, trying to get a read on his opponent, make sure he doesn't get a free pickup of that item. You always want them to be taking damage when they're picking up something crucial, and weaponry is crucial, obviously.
Need everything in your repertoire to try and win this map here. As a rail is very huge on this map. GaRpY will miss with that one. A little bit of rocket to supplement. Gets a little bit of damage. A tri-bolt volley from cnz. Just all in GaRpY's face right there.
Yeah, you don't want to be in tri-bolt. It's not particularly healthy for you. GaRpY still controlling this heavy area, but hits a rail on the rail. Oh, on the rail, sorry, rail on the rail. Well, GaRpY picks up that heavy and wants to pressure onto this Mega. He knows that a little bit of a split. Not hitting anywhere near enough at the moment. Really poor from GaRpY so far, as cnz escapes healthily.
That's very unfortunate for GaRpY. They're missing, I think, 3 to 4 rails. I'm sure Wenger's texting him right now saying, what are you doing here? There's a little bit of rocket damage. Almost gets a rail again, but he's just off right now.
He is, and it's something he needs to address. I mean, sometimes you just have these games and you need to rethink what you're doing, and a switch to the heavy machine gun could be an option. He's out on the easiest rail, up that jump pad. And that switch to the heavy machine gun has already come out, so maybe reflecting on the fact that, hey, I'm not aiming. So it's,
it's like, I'm missing everything. Let me grab this one here, as it already was a little more lucrative. It has one rail, makes it count. Needs to re-up though. There's a tri-ball volley to keep cnz away from the heavy, and that's going to be a good job from GaRpY, as he has 4 seconds to try and get back to the mega and deal some damage, but first he's going to re-up on that rail.
Yeah, first time someone's taken 2 items back to back, but cnz does sneak onto the mega. We're seeing a very standoffish game at the moment. They're prodding and probing, just testing each other, and cnz is trying to slow that tempo. GaRpY wants to raise it, but when you're not hitting enough, you can't. You're not creating any openings, but he's caught him here, just misses that rocket, and the turret is still down there, so wants to rid it.
Would have been a very dangerous drop from GaRpY there. Well done to not. It would have been a Knight at the Roxbury situation. Don't want to get caught in the middle. As the stack's still about even here, and again struggling to hit these rails. I don't think GaRpY can buy a rail right now.
No, it's not the best, and that's exactly why GaRpY's tempo is so slow, because he's not clearing the stack of cnz. And this is a map that you need to be creating those engagements safely, and that's playing that range game. Really enjoying the creative placements from cnz's turrets at the moment as well.
Ooh, the last second there, he's going to get a rail for his troubles here as GaRpY caught in a rough situation. He'll get a free 50 shard as cnz taking positioning on the rail.
Saving grace for both these players at the moment is that there isn't a significant split on the timing, so you always have a fallback option on one of the major items if you play your cards right. Just missing, try to touch the turret onto the high ground there, but missing that. cnz, knowing he's out of permission, doesn't want to take a risk. Instead takes a rail for his trouble. GaRpY retreating because he eats one as well. Both understanding the weight and importance of even a single frag on this map in this series.
Yeah, at this pace, it could be the deciding frag here. There's halfway. We're 0-0. There's a rail for GaRpY. Looking for more here. Dual wield is up if he wants to get up close and personal. Can't decide whether he wants to rocket or rail. A little bit of rocket. And there's the dual wield. He's going to go in with LG, and it's going to be enough to at least warn. No, never mind. Almost gets in there. That rocket from cnz was very important in that doorway to keep GaRpY out.
You know, it's a bad day at the office when you miss a single sitting target in the turret.
He's having a rough one here. First couple maps were going GaRpY's way. It felt like he was hitting everything. With the rail, not so much now. His time ticking away, still 0-0. Miss rail from a cnz there. He goes up the jump pad. A little bit of tri-bolt from below as GaRpY wants this mega. Needs to be careful if he goes up the jump pad. There's a jumpy rail from cnz going through the telly. GaRpY says, you know what, I'm going to take my leave and go grab this heavy.
Oh, that's nice. That's a big opening. He knows how weak GaRpY is now. He's also in the right position to capitalize. Little rocket coming out. GaRpY has to run here. Will cnz make the right choice? Hasn't picked up that mega yet, so we'll assume he's trying to pressure this, but that's a really clutch rail. Feels like the first one of the game he's hit, and it's probably his most important because it stopped cnz in his tracks. I mean, cnz has to fall back onto that mega. So, GaRpY running for his life, but does survive for now. But he's not in a good position here.
Waiting in the blood pool. Shooting the flares up towards the sky here. Still a close game. cnz has the edge.
Nice.
Never mind the rocket to the face. Ooh, but he returns one himself as GaRpY takes that rocket straight to the chest here.
Also a turret on the high ground, which GaRpY doesn't miss this time. cnz going to push here. He knows he can't be weak. He goes up the jump pad. Full rocket from GaRpY, but it's not enough. cnz comes up with the first frag of the game with 3.5 minutes to go. He's also in a very good position. It was a clean frag. He knows what's GaRpY spawn. He's going to create the pressure on. How much damage can GaRpY do? Not enough. Keep this pressure on because there's lots of time before the item, and that's exactly what he wants to do.
Just missing out on that spawn rail here, but 2 frags isn't going to be enough. There's some rockets pushing GaRpY away. He wants to finish with the LG. The heavy's up as well, so this is going to be huge for cnz in terms of momentum. 7 minutes in, 3 frags up.
And now GaRpY's under pressure to keep the tempo higher because he's been a very slow game so far, but he's just fading away, and cnz is getting clean frag after clean frag, meaning the pressure is relentless. Can't follow up, the reload time isn't enough. but does it matter? He's got so much time to get on the items. We also have a split on the items, and so GaRpY's life is going to be hard.
Stopwatch.
It's going to be a painful 2.5 minutes here for GaRpY. Needs to make something happen. There's a little bit of rock damage, not terrible. Missed the rail from cnz, but he doesn't really need it as he tries to back away. Now he's just going to try and play a little bit defensive here. Time is on his side, still up 4.
Up 4, but we saw no frags for 6 minutes. Can GaRpY even get a single frag at this point? cnz has played such a good previous map and a half, and catching GaRpY with a full rocket is pretty big, and the shotgun comes out. GaRpY's caught off guard, he has to retreat, but cnz doesn't even need to get a frag at this point. He's done enough damage to force GaRpY away. Better choice is to play safe.
The rocket spam was so terrifying here, but still 4 up. Has the Mega now. Grab some armor. He'll look even more solid here as GaRpY has to go full plus forward here. Dual LG, can it work? And it does, but the turret is right there. He's like, you leave my friend alone.
That was such an amazing turret. He knew he was trapped, he knew he couldn't get out, and the turret did so much damage because GaRpY couldn't focus it. He's not in a good position here though, cnz is he's playing ring around the rosy on the pillars, and somehow he comes out on top.
I don't even know how he got away with that. 19 HP, the LG on LG battle doesn't go GaRpY's way, and that could be the final nail in the coffin here. With a minute left, 5 frags on this map, I don't know. I believe in miracles, but I just don't know.
I don't know. I honestly think we're going to see the big boys come out to play. GaRpY's in a very precarious position. Even if he finds cnz, you've got to then get across the map, catch him again. I don't think there's enough time for it. And the way cnz's been playing on the defense since pretty much, actually since Awoken, if I'm honest with you, it's been remarkable. The only thing that's changed since then is he's hitting his shots. And GaRpY's not. It's been a complete reversal in fortune.
It's almost as if cnz kind of knew going into Corrupted Keep. He's like, look, I kind of lost the pick ban phase on this one, so whatever. And then I'm going to just play my game on the other maps, and that's exactly what he's done, forcing a map 5.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it could just be that cnz just is not good on that map. Yeah, I've been outpicked. Let's just see what happens. It didn't go his way, and luckily he kept his cool. I felt he played very strongly on Awoken. He just didn't hit enough shots, and it was only a 1-frag game. And since then, he's definitely checked his tempo, began to hit his shots. GaRpY's really, really struggling.
Safe to die.
One more for GaRpY, but 6-3 is going to be the end of that story as we are going to map number 5, going at the distance, and the big boys are going to come out to play Clutch and Scale. They're thick. This is going to be good.
It's going to be entertaining. I don't think I've seen this matchup for quite some time. And beyond, outside of the picks, I'm honestly feeling a bit worried for GaRpY. We've seen in previous series and relegation matches that when the pressure comes, sometimes GaRpY doesn't deliver, and it feels like another one of those days that, yeah, he smashed map 1, he won map 2, but they weren't the deciding maps. As soon as he gets to where the pressure actually counts, it doesn't seem to be delivering. So he definitely needs to step it up this time. His aim wasn't on, but he now has a much meatier champion as well.
Yeah, it's going to be Clutch for GaRpY and Scale Bear for cnz here on Molten Falls. And GaRpY may be running into some endurance issues. I don't know if he needs to slam some tea cakes or whatever, but he's got to get his head back in the game.
Wow, what a stereotype.
What? He gave me tea cakes at QuakeCon 3 years ago. I know he likes tea cakes. It's how dare you? How dare you? It's not offensive. It's delicious. Yeah, I think everybody knows, you know, map number 5, this is for all the marbles here. GaRpY wants to break his way back into the QPL. For the only reason to stop getting all the harassment from Wenger and Razy. But yeah, cnz doing a great job of getting back into it, tying it up, sending it to map number 5, feeling confident. And I really do think that first map was just kind of like, I lost the pick ban phase, this is it. And then we start to see him warm up in Awoken, and now he's just kind of on fire. It may not be the biggest blowouts or the prettiest games, but he's getting it done.
100%. What is your makeup on this matchup? What do you think of the Clutch versus the Scale?
I don't know how many times I've seen GaRpY play Clutch, but I know that he's got Razy in his back pocket, so maybe there's been some training there, maybe a little bit of tutoring. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it plays out, but the way cnz's playing and kind of how GaRpY's fallen off a little bit, I might lean towards cnz for this.
Yeah, well, I know the Maestro guys value the champion very highly, and they always do a lot of theorizing and testing and practicing on these type of weird strategies. And if you're going to pick out a weird strategy, it's generally the last map of best of 5 when it's kind of your ace in the hole. So I'm expecting something big. I think the scale was kind of like, well, this is what's left. I don't know if it was a preference choice for cnz, but it's Molten Falls, and we've seen in the past that cnz is a good Molten Falls player. So it's going to be interesting. I've seen scale on this map before. I've seen it been successful. I've seen it been pretty catastrophic. I don't think I've seen a clutch on this map, at least maybe once. So very interested to see how GaRpY plays it. I'm always going to favor the clutch just because I think that champion is bogus and insane, but it can also really fall flat on its face. And once again, I think cnz needs to play that passive, more defensive playstyle. Let the clutch charge at you and just keep chipping away at it.
Especially since clutch is as big as a barn door, you can hit rails, super shotgun from up close, heavy machine gun from far away. But this is it, map number 5. We're live. GaRpY, cnz. Who is going to claim their place in QPL? Is cnz going to be able to defend, or is GaRpY going to break back in? There's some tribal volleys coming out from cnz. Almost a rail on the way out from GaRpY there. So I'm going to try and defend this rail. Good LG, so much LG. The shotgun and the bull rush is going to be enough from cnz. You could tell he held on to it just to get a couple shotgun blasts first, and then he went in there.
Weapon choice is going to be key for cnz. As much as he's a large champion, he's not as large as a clutch. So the clutch is much easier to hit. You just got to get out that white weapon. You have to get into the close combat. And cnz gets a comfortable 2-frag early lead here. That will settle his nerves a little bit if he had any left.
GaRpY really wants the refrag, and he's going to get at the bull rush. Not enough from that close, but that could have been very scary. Had cnz got that one as well, it would have been whew.
Yeah, and he did so much damage. Like the bull rush in these corridors. What's the fridge meant to do? He can't move out the way. Art used the bull rush so far, and he's in healthy position, having spawned with a big stat, picked up the light, picked up the mega. GaRpY doesn't have a rocket either, which means he's in a bit of trouble, getting tipped away at by cnz, and at the moment, cnz is firmly on the advance.
Perfect positioning. cnz knew exactly where he had to be, and shotgun surprise there, 3-1. cnz looking strong. There's the shield. The shotgun is going to be enough to play. Oh no,
That's
definitely not.
And it feels like GaRpY's trying to force the issue, but he really doesn't need to. And that's not the play either, as he falls onto the jump pad, and another easy frag for cnz. Already got a 4-frag lead, and he's not stopping because these last 2 frags, GaRpY's done nothing.
I have never seen an Astro van fly that high in my life. GaRpY looking like the Dukes of Hazzard out there. 5-1, and he's going to drop into more. LG needs to be careful. The bull rush is also up. He doesn't even need to use it, as cnz lighting up GaRpY right now. And 2 minutes in.
This is not... Yeah, I mean, he's got the frag this time, but he's taken so much damage. He didn't even get the mega. Or even if he did, sorry, it got chipped away. So GaRpY's trying to force the issue so hard. And that often works with a clutch, but you've got to remember, you're going up against a scale bearer, and cnz, who is hitting like a truck. You've got to recalculate.
The way he's using that shield, you think, is from, patches ago, where it was kind of like, okay, this is a wall. But that shield's not that great anymore.
Oh.
GaRpY, wow. What a play.
Literally bonked off of the item. And I hate to say it, but this is spiraling out of control for GaRpY, who needs a plan B. This is the absolute flip side of what we saw in map 1, where it was cnz just face rushing GaRpY. He's gone down again and not doing any damage in the process. What do you do from here, 40?
He has to try and slow it down and play rail, heavy machine gun, something. We just see him show up at all the items with really nothing, just starting stack and maybe a weapon if he's lucky. And I don't know why he's so aggressive. 3:30 in, 9-2. The lead is already huge for cnz, and he's just going to keep adding to it if GaRpY's not careful and gets melted in the rail room.
I mean, this is a playstyle you would use against a light or a medium champion, not against a heavy champion. And I don't think there's a way back for GaRpY, and we're only 4 minutes in. He's got no items. He doesn't look like he has an alternative game plan. And as you say, the use of the shield is questionable, the attacks are questionable, not doing as much damage as cnz. I'm pessimistic.
Bull rush into shotgun again, and you're just too huge. You can't get out of the way.
This could get worse before it gets better, for sure.
This is, at this point, payback for the first map, I think. I think cnz weathered the storm in the series, and now he's like, all right, remember what you did? This is payback.
Very much so, and I'm sure cnz is enjoying life at the moment. He's just catching GaRpY in his choke points. The use of the shotgun is immense, and wow. He's not even doing anything beyond running from one item to the other, and GaRpY's just running at him. And I honestly think has gonna GG out sometime soon, because even if he gets back into control, I just cannot see where 12 frags come.
I mean, he's got the dash, the ability's there, but I just don't see cnz giving up a lead like this. There's the bull rush, the shield won't save you, the shotgun up close and personal, and again, I hope he's got insurance. That Astrovan is absolutely destroyed.
Look at the way cnz played that. He waited in a choke point with shotgun and said, right, if you want to rush me, I've got the shotgun out. He realized he wasn't going to get rushed. He bull rushed to close the gap, did damage, popped the shotgun, and hit 100% shotgun with max damage. Like, it's such simple yet perfect play, and it's leaving GaRpY consistently low without an option. And wow, I am really impressed that he came back. Not so much impressed he won this map, but so impressed how he's come back into the series to take this away from GaRpY again.
It's a testament to the mentality of him as a player, like being mentally strong, saying, you know, I'm down 2 maps, back against the wall, I can do this, and taking it 1 map at a time, and that's exactly what you have to do, especially at this level. But on the flip side, GaRpY, I mean, you're up 2-0, you feel pretty good, and then a couple mistakes, and now look what happened. It's all gone horribly wrong.
I think, like we said in the intro, right? Like, this is what happens when you have an ace in the hole, and it's not something he would have practiced a lot, I imagine. Particularly this particular matchup. It feels like GaRpY had or has had success with this play style and didn't respect or adjust it based on his opponent or his opponent's pick. And it didn't work after the first 2 minutes, hasn't worked 6 minutes in, and I haven't seen any way he's looked to change the way in which he's playing.
And that absolutely could be what went on. I mean, if you get away with bullying, you know, certain players, you start to think, okay, this is the way that I should play, and then you run into another player and you get absolutely shut down. And that's, we may be seeing that right now. As GaRpY again weak, cnz will bull rush towards the banana, gets another super shotgun kill. And you just got to feel for GaRpY. I mean, he's been knocking on the door so many times. I think stage 3, Sparty kept him out. Now here we are, cnz keeping him out. He just wants to get back in the league, man. He's like, let me in, guys, let me in. It's that Eric Andre meme, right?
I mean, he's such a likable guy as well. That's why you got to feel bad for him. But you've also got to sit back and reflect on the way in which he's gone out of these tournaments, because it feels like there is a little bit of a pattern in that he often starts these series very well, and as they progress, his performances deteriorate. And it's when it counts, I feel like I think it has to be something to do with the pressure of the event, and relegation matches are immensely pressurized. So even the most seasoned veterans still feel the pressure.
8 minutes in, 18-2. cnz going hard. In terms of the lead, let's see if it extends here. He's gonna grab the heavy. Does have enough to fight this if he wants. I mean, nothing's stopping him with 2 minutes left. Why not? But even then, he doesn't want to give anything up to GaRpY. You see him not taking a fight. He's like, if you want to drop and take this fight, fine, but I'm not giving you anything for free.
He's just doing his celebratory laps of the map right now. He knows there's been nothing GaRpY could have done for a while.
If he would have fallen off the map, that would have been fantastic.
That would have been.
Why not?
That would have been the highlight of the map, if I'm honest. Yeah, but unfortunate for GaRpY, we said it would be a 3-2, and it was. Unfortunately, the Battle of the Beasts didn't live up to the hype in map number 5, but he played it as perfectly as he needed to.
Yeah, the drill sergeant putting the British Bulldog in the kennel, it appears, as he comes back from 0-2 with a clean sweep to keep his position in the Pro League, and that's just really well done.
Yep, GaRpY doesn't get his tea cakes now. You only get them when you win, Garps. Yeah.
He's already down. There's no need to kick him while he's down.
I'm a cruel master, so what can you say? Got 40 seconds left of this series, and that's what I really, again, big up how well cnz played. If I'm honest, it puts him in good stead moving further into the bracket. Obviously, it's a heavily stacked bracket no matter where you look, so I think many opponents will look at this and think, when cnz played well, like I wouldn't want to come up against him.
Yeah, looking very, very strong. What a bull rush in the shotgun into the rail, and GaRpY hanging on by a thread. And he takes his leave with that, as it'll be 20-1. GG's exchanged, and I mean, hats off to GaRpY. Played well, started out of the gate with a huge lead on Corrupted Keep, took Awoken, and then it all started to fade away, but he's such a good guy. Good attitude at the end of the set, even after all that. I mean, I love GaRpY. I don't think anyone can not like GaRpY. It's just a shame to see kind of how that went.
Yeah, it is a shame, but as I said, got to credit cnz for a remarkable performance and a remarkable turnaround of fortunes. It takes such a mindset to be able to pull that off when you're 2-0 down in a relegation game. Every frag counts, and he kept his cool throughout. So all credit to him. We'll see how he progresses in the tournament.